All right, we're back at Sun Valley LKQ. I haven't been here for about 3 months. The last time I was here, I was specifically wasn't looking for motors. I was looking for pieces and stuff, but now I'm officially back looking for motors again. So in the last description of my last Junkyard video, I talked about how I kind of want to get out of flipping engines. I more or less want to be a broker, meaning someone contacts me, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, iron 5.3, aluminum 5.3, iron 6.0, and then I go out and then look for it and get it. That's why I don't have to flip it. It's just like, I find it for you, here you go. It's much easier. I don't have to stack up on motors and then have to raise the price and everything, and yeah, just more efficient. So yeah, hopefully I find something. We walked all the way back here. I've already found quite a few things. Most likely iron 6.0, but a couple other things too that I've been looking for. Still looking for my injectors. Still looking for a 4L60E bell housing for the run stand, other stuff that I'll think of when I see it. And then also I want GMT 900 interior parts for my 2012 Silverado. So I'll start walking around and see what we find. All right, so I found my first GMT 900. It's nice seeing these in the yard because they've got a lot of good stuff and they're all active fuel management, so the motors need to be opened up anyway. And like I said, I want the interior. So this one's mostly still here. So as you can see here, it does have, you know, 799 T43 heads. That one's missing. But and it is a so this is VIN J, which is LY5, same, you know, standard Gen 453 iron block. The only difference is that VIN 0 is E85, VIN J is gasoline. The difference is you get 30-pound injectors with these, which are still better than the old 24s, and then 36s for the 5.3. So the heads are still here. If I really want to, I can yank these heads off and sell them. I think heads here are like $100 each, maybe more. And then I think I can sell these for like $500. So if somebody wants a set of 799 243 heads, let me know. I can pick up, you know, I can just grab them every time I find them. The other 900s here I'll talk about later. Most of them don't have the motors, but it's a little tough because this thing's already fallen back in here. But yeah, so intake manifold's gone. That's the Trailblazer SS intake. Somebody clearly wanted that. But as I said, the 799 243 heads are still here. Yeah, these are 799. So I'll keep moving. One other thing I want to say about this is so this is actually a good seat that I want. It's leather. Problem is that it's pretty thrashed. It's already, you know, whatever. These trucks that are in here in the yards are really just worked. And then, so these are also a good truck to take because 07 and 08, which is the first year of GMT 900s, still had 4L60s and they really fry. And then same thing with the active fuel management lifters. When these things get cheap enough, that will mechanically total them because you have to pull the heads off, so it's a lot of labor. The way you can tell is that in 07, 08, they have the badge of excellence. And then in 09, they started getting the 6-speed automatics, which are a much better trans. But when those fail, it's really expensive. So those will really mechanically total. But I'm more or less just watching the way the internet is going and why the market's going, when, like, for how much these trucks are worth, and like I said, when they're mechanically totaled. New trucks being 50 grand, they're kind of making these things not totaled. But yeah, so there's a little bit of interior that I want. It doesn't have the center console that I want. It's still a bench seat. But I want a seat for my Silverado, but this one's to work, so I guess I'll move on. So here we have GMT 900 number 2. As you can see, this thing is damaged and everything is completely gone, but badge of excellence, so that means in 07 or 08. I can't even find anything to see what year it is, but yeah, this would have been a good one to take a motor out of because obviously this thing is completely smashed, and maybe it was smashed enough where you could actually get this stuff away. And as far as the interior goes, so this interior actually looked a lot better. It has the console, although it's not the right console. Like technically the console I want is kind of rare. It's only really in trucks. But somebody already took the bottom half of the seat, so I don't really feel like taking the rest of it. But it is in way better shape than the other one. But I don't know, I just have to get lucky with finding a 900 that's not completely ravaged. But hopefully soon. So whenever I'm here, I always like to also identify other V8s I like. Like I found a couple of like the Yamaha V8s and the Volvos, you know, Hemis, quad cam, you know, Cobra motors. And then this is something I haven't seen before. Here is a Ford Taurus SHO V8. So this is a Yamaha V8. What is it, 3.2 liters or whatever it is?
Somewhere in there. 7,000 RPM.
It's got, yeah, I guess this thing is non-valuable enough to be here. And then in another car, there was a bunch of these intake pieces, all like polished aluminum, whole other set. There's the clutches, you know, there's all sorts of pieces. No, I guess this stuff's worthless because it's sitting here, but so that means I basically found every V8. Like I said, that the Volvo V8 is also Yamaha. This is Yamaha. It's pretty funny inside. So you can see there's a freaking nitrous bottle hold down. At least I think that's what that is. Random wires in here. Yeah, I don't know why this is here. Somebody cared about it. Even like the hood's got this cowl because he's trying to think it's a GM. But I guess it's worthless. You know, I'd love to, you know, find all these engines, you know, take them all home. It's got freaking hood pins, but it's probably fried. It's probably worthless. But if somebody wants a show, you know, here it is. This thing isn't anything special. I'll just talk about it really quickly though. So people sometimes make the mistake of accidentally buying 4.8s. A good way to avoid that is all of the Suburbans, so longer wheelbase, are always 5.3s. Avalanches are always 5.3s. The only time you can actually get a 4.8 is in Tahoe and short wheelbase Yukons, and then, you know, the option down Silverados and Sierras. So VIN V. So if all this stuff is missing up here and you, I can't find the 5.3 sticker. VIN V, which is here and here. VIN V is 4.8. So now you know VIN V, that's what you should avoid. Every single trip to the yard, I have to make the obligatory C10 sales vehicle. That's definitely this. So we've got an 88 R20, 8 lug, 3/4 ton, and then it's got a big block. So I'm not a big block guy, but I will say it doesn't have any provisions for roller valve train. I feel like this would be a peanut port if it was in the 80s. These look like pretty big ports. I don't know how big or small they're supposed to look. It's definitely not like a Vortec 350, but this might actually be a fancier 454 for what it's worth. Obviously it's stock. It's got a bunch of stickers inside. It's obviously got the billet grill, so maybe this iron casting big block heads are worth something. It's got some numbers, so let's see. 14092360. So I don't know, maybe those are special, maybe not. Probably not. They're probably just, I'm used to seeing much smaller ports because I'm not used to such big motors. But yeah, something kind of cool. Oh, also it's got grooved pulleys. It's not a V pulley. Granted, I said I don't know much of these at all. So maybe this is special, probably not. But somebody liked it at some point, but now it's here. And sitting in this thing, there was this boat tank. So this is kind of perfect for the run stand. I like how it comes out here and it's metal. I did get a free one from a guy at one of my car shows. It's kind of really big and it's really old. And then the fitting, for whatever, it's on the top, so it actually pulls up and out. And the fitting is extremely small. This fitting's much bigger. So hopefully this thing isn't expensive, but I think I'm gonna try to pick it up. If not, I'll just throw it away as soon as I get up to the front. Here's something that'll definitely make everyone that's not in California upset. We've got an 80, actually, you know what? I think this is Berlinetta or whatever it's called. I see the badge. So yeah, an 80 Camaro. It's funny to see this thing is actually really not in that bad of shape. You got, this thing's all jacked up and that's all rubber. The doors are like locked closed. You can't get into them. I need my wife here to open doors. But yeah, Camaro there. So it's cool to see this thing. It's really not that bad of shape. Obviously it's worthless and that's why it's in the yard here, especially in 1980. But it's too bad you can't, you know, pick this up and then have it not be a 70 or not be an 80 and then have it go to a smog exempt state. Yeah, I can see why people like these. You know, I'm an owner of a second gen F body and I think they're okay, I guess. But then when I see them, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they are pretty cool. So yeah, if anybody wants an 80 body, it's in California and they're basically free here. And sure enough, so yeah, this is a freaking 305 car. So that means this thing has what, like 145 horsepower at least, or more, less. So the Monza would definitely stomp on this thing. It's funny how this and the Monza, like the Monza, you know, is technically the replacement to this. But yeah, so freaking 305 full weight, but cool nonetheless. So I guess since we're on the F-body parade, so here we've got an 82 Firebird. So this is funny how this thing is only, you know, a year or two newer than that over there, and it's still a 305, still has V belts, still has an HEI. So I think it's, oh yeah, this is still freaking carbureted. So yeah, this is the very first one. This wheel fitment is pretty interesting, but yeah, it's funny how this thing is a total pile of garbage, and that thing's actually pretty cool. But yeah, it's funny how much the chassis changed, but the drivetrains haven't changed yet. Here's something pretty cool too. This would be worth something to someone not in California. So we've got a 96 Caprice. So actually the one good year, goodish. So it's got an LT1. This is a real LT1 because it's a 5.7. And like I said, it's the 96. So it is the better of them. So obviously for 96, there was the Corvette LT1, LT4, and then also the Impala, the Caprice, and Roadmaster, and I guess what, the Cadillac, the Fleetwood, whatever, the D-body. Custom Cruiser. Yeah, then the in 97, there was an LT1 OBD2, but you know, I'm kind of over LT1s after working on that truck and just having it not, so I don't really want to see LT1s anymore, but this thing is pretty cool. And then also it's got pretty wild wheels on it. So these are not here, but it's got these crazy, oh, I guess they are mounts. Oh yeah, here we go. So they work like that. And then he's got, what are these, 22 wire wheel, like real wire wheel, like I guess real knockoffs. So there's a ball joint jammed in there, but yeah, that's pretty cool. The guy was balling pretty hard. So you would see Escalade, you think you get all excited. The problem is Escalades are actually kind of weird. It does follow the same thing where I said about how 4.8s and like the option down ones, all that's only in the short wheelbases. Despite it being an Escalade, you think it's not even an LQ4, it's an LQ9. Nope, come up here. And it's VIN T. So the 2-wheel drive, option down, short wheelbase Escalades, you could get them with 5.3s and not 6.0s. Like I said, not even the LQ4, so not even the low compression one. So you would think, oh yeah, total score, but nope, it's just a 5.3. So here we've got GMT 900 number 3. As you can see, this one, the motor is still here, the short block, which is not anything that you would want. But so I guess I'll show it here. So we got flat top pistons, so it's effectively, like I said, it's the high performance Gen 4. Coil knock sensors over here, but somebody already took the 799 heads, the fancy intake manifold. They did leave the Gen 4 coils, so if we do pick something up, I might swap these out to get some Gen 4 coils. Nothing else here is really of note. And then see badge of excellence, so this is an 0708, and the trans is also gone, transparent around, but unfortunately it's got cloth seats and it's got a bench, so yeah, nothing I want in here. All right, so we got 06 Avalanche. Finally, I've been looking in the yard and I haven't found one. Finally, we have a VIN Z, which means this is the E85. So, and the intake manifold's gone. I was like, damn it, somebody watched the videos and already took it. No, it's all right sitting here. So I think I forgot my tool. But so these are the fuel rail you want. Like I said, they're stainless. It's a returnless style. And then these are EV6 injector plug, 36 pound, and they drop right onto the other manifold. So I'm definitely gonna take this now, and then whatever we pull, this will be the rail that we use it on. And it's already, normally I have to unbolt everything, but literally there's nothing else to unbolt, so I can just rip this off really quick. So I just cut it. I have a fancy tool for that, but I didn't bring it, of course, but so we got rails. Here we've got an 83 S15, same thing as an S10, but the significance is that this has the same wheel mounting surface axle width as the Monza. So this is a 6.5, I guess, is it a 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5, 26 spline.
Yeah, it's a 7.5, 26 spline, because they went to 28 spline. That's like the 7.6. So these axles, technically, if you open it up, slide these out, these will directly slide into the Monza. You just have to get 5-lug brakes. I would never install these drums, or you have to get the stock 4-lug drums re-drilled, which is like, I don't know if that's really worth it in machining time or finding somebody to do it. But yeah, so these axles are direct swapping. The problem is that because all the GM axles and modern axles are not floating, the inner, I guess you can't really see it, the axle itself is the inner race of the bearing, so it is a wear item. So this thing's got a bajillion miles on it. I bet if we slid these out, where the axle bearing rides in here would be all grooved away. So it's like, yeah, you can pull these for probably a couple bucks at what they cost in the yard, but if you pull them out, they're probably just gonna be grooved anyway. So it's just like, just buy new replacements. But so yeah, when we've got all the parts to do 15s and 5-lug in the front of the Monza, but we need to order brakes because I don't want to install, like I said, crappy drums, and then just get some 5-lug axles, slip them in, and then we'll have 5-lug 15-inch rim Monza. So now we're getting to the good stuff. So here we've got a 2007 Express fan. It's funny because the Express fans and also the GTOs, which the GTOs were gone by 06. That's where all the crossover is as far as Gen 3 and Gen 4. So this is 3/4 ton van. A lot of it's pulled. Let's see, where's the sticker guy? So you can see 07 Express VIN U. So this is a Gen 3, despite the fact that it's 07. So it's basically like the classic Silverados. And the beauty of it is that this thing is actually, a lot's been taken off. I don't see a reason why the motor is here, but if we come inside. So as you can see, this thing's all leaning back. Somebody already pulled the 4L80, and like I said, most of the front end is gone, so I don't see anything inherently wrong. There's already a couple other 6 liters, spoiler alert, I've already seen them, but here's one, fully complete. I think I want to take this one. I'll talk about the other ones first, but the trans is gone, so that's already off in the back. The exhaust is mostly gone. The front end comes off easy, so at least I don't see a reason why it's here. A lot of the plugs are actually pulled so they can rotate it so they can get the converter bolts off. But yeah, I haven't pulled one in a van in a long time, and I really like pulling them in vans because they look worse than they are because you can get everything back here. And as soon as the front end's gone, they rip right out. So yeah, let's leave this here and then let's go look at the other 6.0s. But I think if we're gonna pull one, this is gonna be it. Here we have 2002 Escalade. You can come over here. All right, the sticker's gone. But we've got VIN N. So that means this is a 6 liter. Not only is it a 6 liter, it's the higher performance, high compression LQ9. So unlike the other one that was over there, that was two-wheel drive, this one is a short wheelbase, but it is all-wheel drive, which means it's a lot harder to pull. And so something that's, I always make sure I explain to people, the 480 only came in the 3/4 tons. So half ton, Silverado HD, you know, all the 6-liter half tons still only got 65s. That's usually what brings them to the yard, especially since the transmissions being all-wheel drive is a lot more labor intensive to pull out. The problem though is that as cool as this is, I don't see any damage, you know, so maybe it's rough inside. And also the all-wheel drive is much harder to pull. The fact that I already have right there, that guy right there, already have a 6-liter dropped and waiting to come out, and this thing is fully not even touched. I would much rather pull that one first before this one. But also one more bit of information. So I'm always talking about the 2004.5 floating wrist pin Gen 4 rod. I say that over and over again. Technically, the first place those rods came from was the LQ9. So despite the fact that it has the smaller 10 mil as far as the valley pan bolts, all of the flat top piston LQ9 high performance iron block 6.0s all have floating wrist pins all the way back to, I think 02 is the first year. So this is a really good motor to take, but there's one sitting over there and there's more over there I'll even get to. But so that's what I'm trying to say. These 6-liters exist. I know where to find them. If people want 6-liters, contact me. I'll put my phone number probably, and then I will go and get them for you, and then we can work out deals. I've been dragging this thing around. It's super annoying, but Alec just noticed there's a freaking hole in it, so I can finally just let this thing go. Like, this thing's, I can't believe I've been dragging it around all day, but all right. Goodbye, boat tank. I wonder how that even happened. So we got two more. We got LQ4, LQ9. Those guys are pulling the LQ9. Good for them. So that means I think there's 4 total we found so far, plus the other ones we haven't seen yet. So 6-liters, they are here. Here we've got another one. This thing is way up in the air. We're almost near the front. We've got a big service bed 1 ton, and it does have a 6-liter. But if we get up in here, so for some reason, and this is pretty hard to do in the yard, the crank pulley is off. The let's see what else is off. The water pump's off. The entire timing cover's off, and then the 480 is still back there. So I have no idea what they pulled and why and what they were doing. I can't tell if it's really hard or easy to pull this engine because it's like literally like 8 feet in the freaking air. But so that's another one. That's now number 5. I don't think I want this one because it's already open. If somebody wanted like a block and stuff, but the problem is that they basically just charge you for the whole motor no matter how incomplete it is. There's no like partial prices because they don't. I don't think they want you disassembling them in the yard and then buying them in pieces. So despite the fact that this thing's already like mostly missing, it would be really expensive. So yeah, I'm not going to pull this. If somebody wanted a block, I guess it would be good to do that. But you know, so this one will stay here.
Camera is at my level and I'm 6'6". Like this thing is up there.
We have another 06 van. This is, I think, number 6, 6-liter. This is like literally the first vehicle we saw when we walked in. But so this one's fully complete. What's really interesting about the vans, that's what I was talking about with that 07. So despite the fact that it is a 06, it's still, and it's also a green-blue ECU, PCM, it still has a cable throttle. So just like the GTOs, there's weird crossover here. So you see green-blue here. And then I think the trans is out of this one too. Yeah, so you can see this is back here. We got a 6.0. I don't remember what the thing is. It's almost here. The trans is also gone on this one too. So I'm thinking technically that front end is also missing. So they're both kind of easy to pull. The problem though I was thinking that is that it's got that really dumb push bar bumper in the front, which will totally be in the way. So I'll either want to pull this one or I want to pull the other one. I think the plugs are still in this one. It's basically a gamble. They're both you know, floating wrist pin. They're both, you know, good blocks, but it's a matter of you know, are they thrashed? Both this van and that other van, neither of them have body damage. So maybe it's the motors that fried, but who knows? But this is kind of the game you play. So we might pull this one, we might pull that one. There's something over there I want to go look at because we need. And then yeah, I'm gonna talk to the guy that I'm gonna probably get this motor for and see what he wants to do. Now we're in the very front pocketest corner. And here we have an actual 5.7 Hemi. So it's funny, a lot of these trucks are all 4.7s. Like it's actually hard to find an actual 5.7 Hemi vehicle here. Then you've got like the 5.7 Hemis that are in cars. I know we even found them in Santa Paula, and then it's like, yeah, no body damage, the motor's probably fried. I'd love to do one of these. Unfortunately, motors are kind of expensive now, so it's not really worth it. Like I know even AFR, like they have aftermarket cylinder heads for these now. But you know, if somebody wants me to do one, I guess I can. I don't, also it'd be hard for me to pull out since I'm not like the Hemi wizard of how to get these things apart and out. And like these are structural, so these look like a pain to work around. But this has no body damage from what I can tell, and like nice tires, so somebody probably cared about it. The motor's probably fried. Maybe it's a trans, but it's probably the motor. But I guess we got water passage things missing, so maybe it freaking dropped valve seats. But yeah, these things like to eat themselves and then they're worthless. But oh, and it's an 03, which means I think that's the first year. So I would assume the first year is also the most fragile. So 5.7 Hemis, they are here, but it's just the risk of buying them. This is actually something I've been looking for a while. So if you remember back in like a year ago, the first Santa Paula video, we found that LTZ Impala SS, which had the L67 supercharged. That is what this is. Here we have a 97 Riviera, so same W body platform. The problem is that, so it got an electronic trunk and we can't get into it, so I can't show you the RPO codes, but this has the EP1 long style injectors that I need 2 more of, because obviously you can only get 6 at a time. And now I've got my other 2. This is for the new motor in the Firebird. I want to run at least 36-pound injectors, stock ones. I probably need even more, but that means I need to go into more aftermarket and Gen 4 stuff. So if I pull all this off, I can get my last 2 injectors, and I can have long style EV1 plug, drop in LS1, 36-pound, and I think that's it. So I got 2 of these guys out. Yeah, luckily I don't have to pull this entire thing. I removed the alternator, not because I needed to get to it, because I dropped a socket down in there and there was no getting into it. So we got the 2. I don't really want to pull more because then it's a forever. I would have to pull what? I have to find 3. What is the numbers of how to find 16? Oh, 16, geez. So 6, 16, like how many of these I'd have to find to have just sets of 8 from sets of 6? So at least what, 42? I need 42 injectors. There might be I don't know, I'm not doing math off the top of my head, but so I got my 2. There's 4 more here. I'm gonna leave them. I don't feel like pulling them because I want to get to 6 liters because I think we're done here. There's nothing else that I found interesting. So yeah, we're gonna go over 6 liters and decide which one to do about that. I figure we'll talk about FBIs a little bit more. Here we've got an 89 3rd gen, a lot nicer than it was an 82 that was over there. So 85 is when they got TPI. So that one's carbureted, and there was the TBEIs, and there's a TPI, and then this actually still might be a 5 liter, depending on if it's a stick or not. If it's a stick, it's always a 5. Yeah, it's auto. So it might be a 305, it might be a 350. I don't know. There's probably trim levels that we would see, like Formula. I don't see any stickers on it. But it does have, what are these, Champ 500? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
So
those are like V-wheel in the late 80s.
Alec wants these, but, well, this one's also really chewed up, but they're 16s, but they're kind of cool. And then they're real center lines. I've been seeing a couple other center lines around here that are not real center lines. And then funny enough, about 3rd gen and 4th gens. Most people know about how they put the fuel tank above the rear axle, so you have to do the trap door. That's not really trap door. That's like a demon was trying to get out of the fuel tank. But I don't think that was there to change the fuel pump. I think they just wanted to steal the sender. And then, so yeah, I don't think that was like, that was not the trap door that someone made to change their fuel pump easy. But yeah, so it's always funny to see how nice of trap doors people make. This one's definitely on the rough side. So here's like the last of the cool stuff. Here we've got a 71 Duster. I guess it wasn't worth anything. Somebody either cut the top off and then junked it, or somebody needed a freaking 71 Duster top, so they cut it here. I can't really tell. It looks pretty fresh. There's no rust in here, but yeah, I guess this thing just wasn't valuable. It's a 6-cylinder car, I'm guessing, because it's got, so I think it's a manual steering box too, which is cool. Drum brake master, it looks like. Yeah, drum brake master. And then the trans here, I know it's not like a GM where everything fits on everything. I think with this starter position being up so high, I think that means it's a 6-cylinder. So yeah, I guess even though it's a 2-door 71 Duster, I guess it wasn't valuable enough to not be here. Yeah, it's got the tiny rear end too. We're back at that 07 truck. As you can see, yeah, it's got a little bit more of a front end here, but this literally comes off in a couple seconds. It's just these bolts, and then it doesn't have a giant like angle iron bar here. So this trans is also gone. The exhaust is mostly gone. I think the motor mounts are on, but yeah. So I think this is the one I want. It's cool because it's an 07. It's literally a really late year Gen 3. So I'll get zapping these off, and we'll hopefully get this out very quickly. So the tip I always say for pulling these things apart is find a bolt, just remove it, because this thing's never going back together. You know, these things really blast apart quick. So bolt. Every bolt I see, AC condenser, I'm just going to start blasting it off. Actually, I might take this too. I think this is one of those like true 40K, whatever they're called, like the trans cooler, the aftermarket ones people always put, and these are decent line. So yeah, I might actually try to save this and swipe that. So all the bolts are out, giant piece of fiberglass. Let's go over here. And then I also have to shroud some around in there too. All right, so I think the oil cooler lines, yeah, those are undone. And then I was about to remove these trans cooler lines until I realized they're looped into each other. So that's totally off. And then that's got this big hose there, which isn't hooked up to anything. And we're out. So as you can see here, granted, yes, part of the front end was off, but it does not take much time to pull off. It was already off. And we're already way in here, and it's just start blasting off accessory stuff just to get out of the way. If you see a bolt, remove it. I'll see if I can pull that AC out of the way in the meantime. And then this thing is decently high off the ground, so I don't think I want it to fall and get it out from underneath, but yeah, we should. I'm gonna crawl inside too, pull the intake manifold off, just like I said, whatever does have to be here isn't. It slowly but surely gets less and less daunting, and then it's just, you know, pull it forward and pull it out. All right, I think I got the water pump bolts off. We got a heater line still on. There we go. So we'll keep this. We're taking this with us because you have to buy it. So put this over here. I got all these off. There's another one that's around the corner, which is a pain. And the way the motor is leaning back because there's no trans, I hope I can get to it. But this thing's basically off. Let me see if I can get, oh, it's wedged in there. All right, let me just wiggle this around and I'll get this out. I want to take a quick break. So here we've got a bird. Oh, there it goes.
Not a bird.
So I wanted to,
Goodbye.
I wanted to hold him, but I want the eggs because we've got 2 eggs here. I want the eggs for snake food to feed my snake back at home. So snakes really like eggs, and these are fertilized. Obviously, I'm assuming they're fertilized because it's from an actual thing. So yeah, these are food for my snake.
Aw. You'll make more.
All right, I've been at it for a minute. Got all this off. Power steering and stuff is off. I'm actually going to take this because the guy who wants it, we're going to try to reuse a lot of the truck stuff. So I'll undo all this low pressure line and put it aside. I got one of the exhaust banks off. Luckily, it's all already taken off from the flanges. One set of coil packs is all the way off, almost all the way off. It's unplugged. The problem is that the motor's leaning back because there's no trans. So I can't get to those rearest bolts. And then, yeah, we've been looking around for a friggin' trans jack to try to tilt it forward to get it off, but I guess we need to look harder. Pulled most of these off. Yeah, I can't get to the motor mount bolts yet, but, oh, and actually, oh, you know what? Duh. This freaking motor mount's missing. So yeah, that's, I was gonna say, I knew there was stuff around. So this thing is actually way far back than it's supposed to be. It's like, oh yeah, it's basically like falling rearwards. It might not even be bolted on that side. It's so hard to tell. It might still have a bolt on that side, and obviously it's just, yeah, straight up missing on that side. So yeah, let's keep looking to try to find something to tilt it forward. I can get the rest of this off. A lot of this is already off, but it's, like I said, it's pinching in the back. And then, you know, get everything apart, and then it should be obvious what we need to do. So we've got a lot more off, sure enough. So I guess we'll go inside, but the motor mount bolts were already off and the whole thing's sliding away, which is why it's hard to get everything off. But we got both coil packs off, the intake manifold chilling right here. It's got a, oh, that's like this. So yeah, we get this apart. So, and then I'm gonna be taking off that throttle body and that fuel rail and then installing the other fuel rail, and then I'll just grab a cable throttle body sitting over there, like one of many. This, I don't even think we have to pull for right now. Yeah, it's funny how the motor is going rearwards. It's like 3 inches too far back, which is why it was kind of confusing and difficult. But I think now I'm gonna go grab a hoist, just yank it on and start pulling forward. And then hopefully if I get it up high enough, I can get this and then the motor mount that's still on the block out of the way. And we should be basically home free. It's basically, most of the work was done for me, so cool.
Da-dum. Da-dum. Da-dum,
So after an hour of waiting, I'm definitely going to talk to corporate, talk to whoever I need to talk to about getting these hoists. They make you wait in line again to rent them. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so we're all racked up. Got my strap on there. You know, it's like 3 inches back from where it normally is. But I think if I just start tensioning and start pulling, it should just start coming forwards. higher. Now I can get to that AC bolt. I can just start pulling more stuff off. We're not really going to lose much more weight, but we will make it clear. I'm not exactly sure what we're even on. Oh, I think we're on the start, because I didn't even like pull the starter too. The starter is just running on the that frame rail. So let me just get this out of the way and then get back at it. So AC compressor off, AC bracket off. This thing I usually ceremoniously throw it across the yard as hard as I can, because it's always in the way of motor mount bolts, but on vans it's not that bad because you can go from like back and underneath, and this one I already had them off. That motor mount is obviously still attached to the block. I don't think I'll have to remove it. I think with maybe hanging out, like I say, I can see the that one exhaust manifold flange is contacting the frame, and then sitting the starter there, so I might climb underneath. I'm much less dirty than I normally am, and that's kind of nice, but keep putting load on, pulling it up, and see if it just flies out of here. I haven't disconnected anything from the starter, so I probably have starter wiring and pulling. So we're taking this starter. So I didn't want to remove it, but we just pull it again. I think we're completely free. We have to pull the converter off too, because I don't need another 480 converter. I'll never let go, Jack. Ta-da! And we're free. So you see this thing is extremely dirty, ton of things down to the ports. I'll have to flip it over and really, actually, let me just try to get a lot of it off. It's gonna go right to the ports. Yeah, nice and dirty. Let's not show that too close. Let me pull this motor right off, you don't need that. And then hopefully those come off nice and easy, because there's no plugs in it, so that would really suck if it doesn't want to spin. Oh yeah, and there's 6 of them. That's what's really annoying. So on a 480E converter, there's 6 bolts, and it's got the different flanges. It's got the old school Turbo 350 and Turbo 400 style what's this called, the impeller, or not, or part of the impeller drive, whatever. It's got some fancy name, but yeah. Okay, let me pull that motor mount off and we yip the converter off. So that motor mount's off. Also, I need to pull, this is the dipstick extension, 15. No, it's 15. So I need to pull that off. I got one converter bolt out with the gun, so they come out pretty easily, which means I just have to lay it down, get obviously off the pulley, so I can spin it 6 times or 5 more times, get to each converter bolt, and then have the converter be gone, and then just collect all the stuff we're going to take as well. Assemble the intake manifold, or yeah, intake manifold, get a throttle body. I think we'll be ready to go. All right, perfect. This thing's ready to go, sitting like this. We got the intake manifold here. This is the one that came from this motor. We've got the stainless, my 36ers, my fancy stuff there. We have the heatsink coils that were on this motor. I might swap those. There's some Gen 4s I know that are sitting over there that I had ready. This stuff all comes with it. Also the exhaust manifold, I'm not going to take those, I never do. But that and the water pump, which is chilling right here. So this is all the stuff you are forced to buy, and then plus the exhaust manifolds. So the stuff I'm going to take as well for this application, because we're going to probably throw this in a car and try to do some stuff with it. We want to try to use this, so the factory power steering, factory alternator probably. That might be a high amp one, but I guess it doesn't really matter. However, I noticed it does have the later plug, which I think means it's a sorry, 105. So 105 amp with the this style plug, and not the more like square one. So I think this might actually be the one we want to use, but I guess I'll grab it anyway. But this is extra, and then also the starter, which I still have to take the wires off of. But I always take starter bolts because they're just good to have. But yeah, the starter for whatever reason isn't included in all of this, so I'm gonna unbolt all this, and I think it's basically like 40 bucks each for all these little extras. A little annoying, but it is what it is. So, and then all I have to do is just grab another throttle body, because I already grabbed that one off. Just get a cable one with some sensors on it, and then should be everything. So we got everything in the truck. So what we got our 6-liter. I got included coil pack sitting way over there. Included water pump. The included intake manifold. You can see we got a cable throttle on there. The stainless rail with the EV6s with 36 pounders. So that's all included. And we got our power steering pump, our alternator, and our starter. So This is a nice little package. I'm not going to reveal exactly how much I paid on it because what I want to do is if people want this, like I said, I found 6 basically of this, and then plus a bunch of transmissions. If you want me to get this for you, let me know, DM me. I'm probably going to put my phone number, figure out a way to contact me, comment, and I will get this for you. And I really want to start doing around this quick. Next time you see this, we're going to open it up. Hopefully we find something good, getting all the dirt around it. But yeah, so looking forward to that.